Turn-back time is a good one today. This is the day in 1973, early January, in which the owners voted to have the DH in the American League. The NL nixed it, but they didn't have any problems with their counterparts. And so the DH, which was rumored to be part of the equation since the late 60s and all the dominant pitching, they used it in spring training. They used it in some minor league scenarios and everything else. Finally, it becomes a reality there in early January. And Ron Blomberg, about 3 months later, became the first official to DH. He walked for the Yankees with the bases loaded against the Red Sox. That was on April 13th as DH became the norm as far as the American League is concerned, and still is here as we head into the 2021 baseball season. In 2021, we shall see here if the National League finally relents and adds the DH. Now, based on this, and Tony Leva was the DH, and a lot of big stars, Frank Robinson, Henry Aaron, everything else, became a place where the older player, the good bat, got a chance to get his 4 at-bats a game without having to go into the field. Now, as far as the DHs are concerned historically, I decided to rank them. And the first qualification I put in here, folks, you had to play at least over 50% of your time had to be a DH, which eliminates Paul Molitor, folks like that. He only had 43%. Eliminates Nelson Cruz, who so far in his career has only been as a DH 43% of his at-bats. So I had a 50% or north to be on this particular list. Number 5 for me. Now, this is just my list, and I'm going to annoy people because that's what I like to do. Number 5 here for me is going to be Hal Mcrae. He was a wonderful Kansas City Royal. He was a big presence in that batting order. He was a good on-base percentage guy. He was an excellent hitter. He was a .290 lifetime hitter. He was a big hitter in big spots. He backed up George Brett. Those are excellent Royal teams, and he was a big cog. Listen, overall, I could put Harold Baines here. I didn't. I just love Mcrae. He was a feisty guy, excellent hitter, good professional at bat. And he wasn't a compiler because he had 120-something RBIs late in his career. He was still good later on. I put him at number 5 as far as my list is concerned. Don Balor, and he is barely over the 50% plateau. He's at 56%, but I put him number 4. He played 65 games as a DH when he won the MVP in 1979. He had a great year for the Angels. As an excellent offensive player. Good at bat, big hitter, hit home runs. Good in a big moment, played for a lot of ball clubs. I mean, you could go a couple different ways here. You could say that Baylor is not as good as Baines. Baines is in the Hall of Fame. Baylor isn't. I just remember that 79 season for California. He was superb. He was a good hitter, gave you a trusty at bat. Listen, is he a tremendous offensive player historically? He's a .260 lifetime hitter, and he hit 338 home runs and knocked in 1,300 runs career-wise. But I just like Baylor, so for me, I'm going to make him number 4. I don't think that's any issues as far as that is concerned. As far as my third person is concerned on my list, I'll put Frank Thomas there. I can't put Frank ahead of Ortiz and Edgar Martinez, but Thomas is obviously a tremendous player. He's a Hall of Famer, 500 home runs. He's, 2-time American League MVP, 5-time All-Star. He hit 1,704 RBIs. Frank played 56% of his games as a DH. He was also a first baseman. You can quibble all you want. Thomas, you want to put him higher than this, go ahead. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just not going to put him over Ortiz and Edgar Martinez. Martinez is one of the best pure hitters I've ever seen. And Ortiz is Ortiz, championship pedigree. It's not a knock putting Frank 3. You could have gone higher. I didn't love Thomas necessarily, but 521 home runs is 521 home runs. But I'm going to put him at number 3. Obviously, I'll put Martinez at number 2. Who doesn't love Edgar? Edgar is a wonderful offensive player. You can't argue with his numbers, the batting championships, all the great things that Martinez did. 68% of his games as a DH. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a lifetime .312 hitter, 309 home runs, 1,200 RBIs, just 2-time American League batting champion. Beat the Yankees basically single-handedly in '95 in the divisional round. I love Edgar, play on my team, professional, bat the whole 9 yards. I will make Edgar Martinez number 2. And Ortiz is number 1, despite what happened with him in '03 with the steroid thing. Ortiz made up for that and then some. Obviously won all the championships. Tremendous big game player, 10-time All-Star. He's going to the Hall of Fame. The big moment never scared him. Ortiz, the linchpin of that many Red Sox team, obviously helped the Red Sox in '04. He is a definite number 1. So Ortiz 1, Edgar Martinez 2, Obviously, Frank Thomas 3 and onward we go. I'll put Balor 4 and McRae 5. I'll leave, for the heck of it, I'll leave Baines out. Bruce Shine, who knows this DH thing as well as I do, says hello. Brucey, where do you want to go here with the DH list? Let me hear.
Yeah, well, this is why I'm going to defend your position on David Ortiz, because I think most would look at the entire bodies of work and say, well, you got to be crazy to go with Ortiz over Frank Thomas and Edgar Martinez. But it's kind of like the whole Hall of Fame thing we get into with Mike Buccina and Curt Schilling. The separator is the postseason. And when you talk about Ortiz, it's not just the championships won. It is the huge moment. It is the body of work that he has done against the elitist of pitching on the grandest of stages, and how he has performed time and again in those situations, which puts Ortiz, arguably the second most important Boston Red Sox of all time, number one on this list.
Good point. I think he's 3. I think you got to put Williams 1, Yaz 2, and him 3. But I think overall, 100% right. I don't know what his postseason stats are. I can find them here, but Mark will tell me. But he's a tremendous. Listen, if your life was on the line in a big spot in a postseason game, whether you needed a single, a walk, or a homer, I am taking Ortiz over Edgar and Frank Thomas. That's all there is to it. Now, Edgar might get you the base hit, but he won't have the power that Ortiz has. I am putting him obviously he won 3 championships. That helps too. I am putting him number 1. I don't care what anybody says. You and I both are in agreement there. You especially, knowing how much he killed the Yankees. Well done, Bruce Shine.